So good morning to all and Jai Sadgurudeo. Before we begin the session, I would like to bow down and offer my prayers to the holy feet of Lord Sadgurudeo. Please join me by closing your eyes. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Welcome to yet another awaited session for our weekly Sunday Satsang. I am Ravi Shankar and have joined this virtual Satsang from Texas. In the present era, our daily lives are perpetually consumed by the pursuit of meeting our physical and mental needs, as well as fulfilling our social obligations. Seeing the hustle and the bustle of this fast-paced routine, the essential needs of our soul often get overshadowed. Therefore, we extend our heartfelt congratulations to each other that we have joined this satsang on this precious occasion through virtual meeting, where we'll aim to nourish the needs of our soul. Our focus today will be delving into the profound insight of Swarved. We will discuss about Swarved Wisdom. As you all know, Swarved holds a central place within the philosophy of Vihangam Yoga. The recitation of its verses, known as Dohe, has a profound ability to instill harmony and peace within our soul and mind, guiding us towards righteousness. Today, we are joined by Vijay Davluriji, an individual who shares a deep connection with Vihangam Yoga. His spiritual journey has brought him close to achieving great heights in spirituality. A beloved disciple of Lord Sadgurudeo, Vijayji has been blessed multiple times by his revered Guru. One of Vijayji's remarkable contribution lies in his ability to connect and correlates the teachings of Swarved with various ancient scriptures. This interweaving of wisdom from different sources enhance our understandings of its spirituality and brings to the light of the universal truth that these teachings convey. Now, let's turn our attention to Vijayji, who will elaborate on the benefits that we can all derive from the profound wisdom encapsulated in Swarved and its related teachings.
बोले सदगुरुदेव की जय। मम सद्गुरु आदेश है, सत्य करो उपदेश, भला बुरा जग नहीं, संत चले निज देश. As I bow down to the holy feet of Lord Sadgurudeo, पूजनीय माता जी, संत पर श्री विज्ञान देव जी महाराज एवं संत श्री नामदेव जी महाराज. Very warm welcome to all the spiritual seekers, devotees, and our dear host Ravi Shankar ji. If you call for Vijay Davlurji, I'm going to do the proxy for him.
I'm so sorry, Vijay.
Yeah. Swarved wisdom, in fact, the word Swarved itself has Ved in it. Ved means wisdom, Gyan. Swarved is the book that is written by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj in his journey of spiritual exploration. where he wanted to discover about the self and about the supreme. And that's why the Swarved, as the name suggests, Swa means the self, and Swa also means the supreme being, the supreme creator. So Swarved is the knowledge of the self as well as the creator. And so all the dohas, when we say dohas, meaning these two liners that you see on the screen, these are called couplet, these are called dohas. So all these dohas are centric to uplift the human soul from Prakriti, meaning this outer world, to the Creator. All these dohas are intended for reversing our allurement, our attachment from outer world to the conscious world. The existence that we believe in is not only to the subject, confined to the subject that our sensory organs can perceive, but there exists the conscious world also. If there is a creation, then there is all pervading consciousness of the creator as well. If there is a human body, then there is a consciousness within this human body which is making this body live. So there is inertness and there is consciousness. Many people still relate consciousness only with the awareness. People think that, are you conscious about what you're doing? So the English grammar has rightfully chosen the word conscious when you're awake about anything, when you want to be very vigilant about something. We say, are you conscious about it? So the moment we say, are you conscious about it? This simply means that, is your consciousness attached to the subject which is being asked here? So when you attach your consciousness to the subject, that is when the soul becomes conscious about it. So the English grammar has correctly chosen anything about when you have to say whether you're aware about it, the synonym is also, are you conscious about it? But because it is so commonly used that people have confined the word being conscious only to be related to being attentive. Are you attentive about things? But have forgotten about the existence of conscious entities. When you are conscious about something, that truly means that you have the power of consciousness inside, and that's only when you can become conscious about something. A dead man, a dead animal cannot be conscious about anything, even though it has everything, the eyes, the organs, everything, but the consciousness is missing because the conscious entity is missing. So Swarved is always related to, any couplet of Swarved is always related to bringing our attention towards consciousness. Swarved is always about making us realize that we are caged into the inert world, whereas we are not an inert entity. We are a conscious entity. We are a conscious entity, and we need to be reminded about it because we have also become inert in this inert world. We have totally forgotten about our conscious existence all we believe in about this inert body. This is what we are. That's what we believe. And we concentrate on fulfilling only the need of the body. If the body is hungry, we feed it. If body is thirsty, we feed it. If it requires any sensory gratifications, we go for it. All these needs are the sensory needs, the pranic need, the physical need. But in fulfilling all these needs, what is forgotten about is the truth about our life and death, the truth about the real thirst and the hunger that the soul has. Soul is seeking something. Soul is seeking something, and it is unfortunately in ignorance. The soul is in ignorance. It is seeking the ultimate bliss, but ignorantly it is trying to seek that in the outer world. And that's why Swamiji says in prayers also, when you perform the daily prayer of Guru Vandana, Arti, it says, Prakriti Swabhava Mitao. Please eradicate my Prakriti Swabhav and establish me in Sahaj Swabhav. We have molded ourselves now in Prakriti Swabhav. So what is Prakriti Swabhav? The reason I'm discussing all this is because only when we accept what we have become and what we need to be, then we will understand the importance of this doha, that why it is important to receive the blessings from Sadguru. So before I elaborate further the background about this doha, let's try to see what this doha is, and then we'll go back and reconnect the threads. So I request any joinee to please sing this for Ved Doha and read the Bhashya.
Jai Sadgurudev. I will read it. Shubha bhavana sant ki jaghitakari hoy Sadguru prema prasannata शिष्य हित मंगल सोय। भाष्य। संत की शुभ भावना संसार के लिए कल्याणप्रद होती है एवं सद्गुरुदेव की प्रसन्नता एवं उनका प्रेम शिष्य के लिए हितकारी एवं आनंददायी होता है। जय सद्गुरुदेव।
थैंक यू शरण जी। शुभ भावना संत की जग हितकारी होय सद्गुरु प्रेम प्रसन्नता शिष्य हित मंगल सोय। शुभ भावना means the you can say auspicious or benevolent wish. Benevolent wish of whom? Of Sant. Shubha Bhavana means benevolent wish. Sant means the one who is endowed with the knowledge which comes from Sadgurudev. The knowledge from Sadgurudev, when it flows into any soul, then that soul is called Sant. Sant is not the one who has just chosen to follow some ritualistic karma, some ritualistic puja, and have, the clothing that is, let's say, white or orange or all these outer outfit does not make any person a saint, a sant. The real sant is one who follows the wisdom of Sadguru. So when such complete yogi who is endowed with the wisdom of Sadgurudeo, who is 100% within the confinement of Sadguru's wisdom, his actions, his speech, his life is all in line with what Sadguru has laid down, the foundation of spiritual journey. Such follower of Sadguru is called Sant. So when such complete Sant, when they wish something, that wish is what reflects in the benevolence in the world. So Shubha Bhavana Sant ki Jaghitkari hoy. When such saint wishes for goodness in the world, then there is some good changes, good vibrations in the world, and that benefit everybody. Sadguru Prem Prasannata. Whereas when Sadguru is pleased and shows love towards any disciple, then it is not only that the Shishya, the disciple, gets the all-round prosperity in their life, but also the bliss becomes a reality for the soul. The soul will they will not realize what has happened to me, but just because when Sadguru will be pleased with any disciple's seva, any disciple's bhav, the devotion, if Sadguru shows a real acceptance that yes, this disciple of mine has truly 100% surrendered onto me, I am pleased with his seva. If Sadguru reflect his acceptance of Shishya through the flourishment of or through the showering of love and smile for the disciple, then that disciple will see a sudden change in their inner journey. They will see that I don't know what has happened, but I suddenly see that all the circumstances are supporting my journey now. All the blockages that I had in my life for my upliftment in the spiritual journey, they have suddenly started vanishing. So everything will become beneficial for the soul just when Sadguru is pleased. This shows that Sadguru is not an ordinary being, but just with Sadguru's happiness and the acceptance that yes, this is my dear disciple. This disciple has truly pleased me with his sense of surrender, his seva, his service, selfless service. This very acceptance by the Sadguru itself reflect in fourfold progress in the disciple's life. Suddenly everything will start transforming in disciple's life. This is the divine glory of Sadguru's blessings. And that is why in the spiritual journey, it is very important that we do everything necessary to become eligible for Sadguru's blessing. We should know how is Sadguru pleased with any disciple. Sadguru is not pleased with any disciple just by maybe, what to say, I don't know what's the word for it, but if inside us the bhav is of greed, and because we want to attain the blessings from Sadguru, so with that greed we do everything possible for pleasing Sadguru, then it is not going to work. Sadguru is actually pleased with our true changes within ourselves, our effort towards accepting this path, our effort towards doing everything necessary for purifying our body, our mind, our spirit. Sadguru is actually pleased with our Shuchita. There is something called Shuchita. What is Shuchita? Shuchita is the purification in all levels. Sadguru is actually pleased with our pure heart only. Everything else that we do is actually a natural reaction. If we cry for Sadguru in devotion, that is not because we want to cry so that Sadguru is pleased, but we cry with devotion for Sadguru because of the Shuchita, because of the purity that is there in our heart. When there is purity in our heart, automatically the love will flow for the divinity. Automatically our uh, feeling for the Sadguru will change, because Sadguru has the divine flow of Brahm energy. Sadguru is the medium through which the Brahm, the Almighty, flows. So when the Almighty is flowing through Sadguru, if our heart is pure, automatically the soul will feel immensely in bliss and in satisfaction when it goes in the vicinity of Sadguru. So you don't want to cry, rather you happen to cry. You happen to feel a flow of incessant love, unbroken love, when you go in front of Sadguru, only when our heart is truly pure. Then Sadguru doesn't have to ask you for seva, but Sadguru's word, Sadguru wish will become the goal of your life suddenly. So you're not doing the seva because you want to please Sadguru, but you're doing seva because that is what becomes your medium of happiness. You feel satisfied, you feel happy by doing the seva, by doing the activity, what Sadguru wants out of you. It's because you have developed that level of love for the Sadguru that you want to do everything possible for Sadguru. And when this natural seva starts flowing from our heart, that is when we become a true sevak of Sadgurudeo. And when we become true sevak of Sadgurudeo, that is when we become seva jit. And Sadgurudev is pleased with seva jit shishya. Seva jit shishya. Not one who just want to allure Sadguru with abundance. No, Sadguru is not allured by that. Sadguru is not pleased by outer showings of our seva, but Sadguru is actually pleased with what is going on inside. What is going on inside? Are we doing seva? Whatever scale of seva is, it doesn't matter, but are we doing that 100% with our inner calling, as if our soul Soul itself is asking for this seva. I really want to do this seva. That's why I'm doing this seva. Not because, oh, this seva is what will please Sadguru. Not for that. But just because our relation with Sadguru will establish in such a way when our heart is pure that automatically it will be our inner calling. We really want to do everything that Sadguru wants to do in this world. If Sadguru wants to spread the message of wisdom to everyone, that you are a soul, you're not a human body, you are somebody lost into this allurement of outer worlds, we don't belong here, we are caught into cycle of life and death. This is the only opportunity. This is the only opportunity where you can escape from this never ending cycle of life and death. We are caught into the bondage of karma. We are caught into bondage of ignorance. And this is the only opportunity. Are we doing anything about it? Or we are spending our entire life just in Prakriti Swabhav, not in Sahaj Swabhav. So what is Prakriti Swabhav? What is Sahaj Swabhav? Prakriti Swabhav is when we feel only for the subject which is in the Prakriti. We connect with only the subject of Prakriti. If anybody talks about Almighty, the bliss of Almighty, the devotion, you don't connect to it. If it's like that, that means our nature has become very prakritik. That means our swabhav, our nature has become very worldly. So Sadgurudev always want this to be transformed from being worldly to becoming spiritual. That should be our elementary transformation. That first we should become a spiritual. We should start striving for something which is good for our soul. We should not be ending our life just in chasing the sensory subjects, the materialistic gratification. That should not be all in our life. Rather, there has to be a transformation from worldly to becoming spiritual. And that's why we do this prayer to Sadguru every day. We say that please eradicate our worldly nature, please, because I am not able to eradicate myself. Every day I think about only worldly subjects and I am confined into this ignorance. Even though I hear it in satsang that I am a soul and I need to take care of breaking bondages that the soul is caught into, but I am being very ignorant about it. Every day I repeat the same mistakes because in the name of happiness, all I can do is I can go for the sensual gratification, all the momentary happiness, and I feel attracted towards it every day. I am not able to break.
Lesson number 1.
I am not able to break this raga, this attraction myself. So, O Sadguru, you are the only one who can eradicate this swabhav from me. And please transform me to bring me to my original swabhav, my original nature. My original nature as a soul is to seek Almighty. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. But that very nature is right now covered with the blanket of ignorance. And what is prominent right now is the sensory subject and my attractions towards sensory subject. So when this very wisdom awaken within us, that we have become prakritik, we have become worldly, and we have only turned our face away from the benevolence of the soul, upliftment of the soul. We are doing absolutely nothing about our soul and just doing everything about our worldly life. When we accept this, and when we also accept that we are helpless about it, we just cannot break free from this very raga, this very attraction towards the worldly subject and worldly life. When we accept this helplessness, the situation of helplessness that we are in right now, that's when we say, Trahi me, trahi pukaro. Oh Sadgurudeo, I am so helpless. Even though you say so, but I am not able to change my nature. I'm not able to change my nature. When we truly accept our limitations and surrender to Sadguru, and when Sadguru then sees that this soul has now truly surrendered and now truly wants to do something about the self, this particular soul has truly understood that this human life is the only opportunity where you can liberate. You can liberate from cycle of life and death. When Sadguru sees this purity, this transparency within ourselves, that's when Sadguru is pleased. So Sadguru wants our honest surrendership. Not just because we want to please Sadguru, but just because we realize this is the need. I am helpless. I cannot do anything myself. Only Sadguru can do this transformation within myself. So all I can do is I can only pray Sadguru. And I can pray with utmost honesty. So when this utmost honesty becomes our nature and our prayer is a true prayer to Sadguru for eradicating this Prakriti Swabhav, that is when Sadguru is pleased. And when Sadguru is pleased, then the transformation begins. That's what this Doha says, that in spiritual journey, all that matters is whether you have become an entity that Sadguru wants you to become, which is about having zero mud or the arrogance, zero arrogance about yourself. Accepting that you are zero in this field, you actually cannot do anything in this field. When this zero bhav is established within ourselves, and when we truly develop this seeking within ourselves that I really want to grow in this life spiritually, that is when Sadgurudev is pleased. And when Sadguru is pleased, then all the blockages, all the allurement, all the raga, they start shattering with Sadguru's wish only, with Sadguru's wish. When Sadguru will wish for our spiritual progress, then suddenly our meditation starts working. Suddenly you start getting spiritual experiences. I'll just conclude with a small real story that we always use as a reference for what we have to become as a disciple. We all have heard about this. somebody called Seva Brati Shishya. So there was a Shishya whose name is Seva Brati ji. So Seva Brati ji, along with two other disciples, they were all three going on Himalaya Shunya Shikar Ashram along with Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. Sadafal Devji Maharaj asked the other two devotees that you don't carry your stuff yourself, give that to Seva Brati ji. So the luggage of all three disciples were carried single-handedly by Seva Brati ji. Other two devotees were feeling very sorry about it. Why Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has been so hard on Seva Brati ji? Because Shunya Shikar Ashram is uphill. You have to, ride on the mountain for about 2 hours. Those days, it used to be even more than that. So all those disciples wanted to go to Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj to plead about it. The moment they opened their mouth, Sadgurudeo, can I take my luggage myself? Why do we want to burden Seva Brati ji? Before Sadafal Devji Maharaj says something, Seva Brati ji himself says, why you are, coming in between Guru and me? If this is Guru's wish, I'm happy about it. Why you complain? So before Sadguru Siddhapal Devji Maharaj says anything, Seva Vrati ji himself is stopping them. And Sadafal Devji Maharaj is showing no mercy on him. Everybody is marching little ahead faster and Seva Vrati ji is lagging behind. So Sadafal Devji Maharaj turns back and starts scolding him. You have become so lazy. We have to go faster on the uphill to reach ashram in time, and you're delaying it. Come fast. And Sevarvati ji is just saying, oh, sorry, master, it's my mistake. And then he tries hard to go faster. And the other two disciples are just feeling very, very sorry about it. When they reach on the mountain in the Shunya Shikar Ashram, Himalayan range, we have ashram called Shunya Shikar Ashram, Himalaya Shunya Shikar Ashram. When they reach over there, then Sadgurudeo asked all the three disciples to sit in front of him. And Seva Vrati ji, Swamiji says, Sadafal Devji Maharaj asked him to sit in the center. So the other two disciples will sit next to him, and Seva Vrati ji will sit in front of Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. And then Sadafal Devji Maharaj starts singing a bhajan, and suddenly Seva Vrati ji will zoom into meditation. And not only he zoom into ordinary meditation, but all the 5 stages of Vihangam Yoga meditation happens right then and there. Starting from pulling the consciousness from the outer world, passing through the 10th door, going through the Makartar, crossing the 11th door, and experiencing Almighty. Everything happens just by the wish of Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. Just by his wish, because he was so utterly pleased with Seva Vrati ji's devotion and surrendership. And that is the potential of Sadguru. Sadguru is all equipped, all potent to bless us with the spiritual experiences. He is all potent to liberate us, to end our, God knows how many births of bondages. For eons and eons, for yugas and yugas, we might have been here in the cycle of life and death. And just by the mere wish of Sadguru, our that never-ending cycle breaks, it shatters. We liberate. Seva Vrati ji experienced the Almighty in a moment. Pal mein alakh lakhave, santo soi Sadguru kahave. Sadguru is the one who is all potent, all capable to show us unseen the Almighty in a moment, And that's what he did with Seva Bratiji after being very pleased with his bhav, with his sahaj bhav. He tested his prakriti swabhav, whether he is really still holding his prakriti swabhav or he has come to the purest bhav of a soul. But when Sevavrati ji qualifies all this test, going through all the hardship and still not complaining about anything, that's when Sadafal Devji Maharaj was utterly pleased. And when he was pleased, everything was given to Sevavrati ji in a moment. And this is what is the essence of this doha as well. Jai Sadgurudeo.
Yeah, thank you, Vijayji, for explaining the crux of this doha and sharing the real-time experience of a sevak. If anyone having any relevant questions to this doha, please you may ask now.
Yes, Sadgurudev, Vijayji, and that was very heartening to listen to the. So the quality which I forgot the name of the disciple, but he exhibited was that he expressed vinamrata towards the Sadafal Devji Maharaj, because in spite of him scolding him that why don't you come faster, you are slowing the whole team, and he graciously, was that the bhav that you were referring to?
The main intent that Sadgurudeo was scolding and doing all that was just to test if he will follow anything I say, no matter how much hardship it demands one to go through. Is he ready to go through that? Has he really, जो अपना घमंड होता है, क्या इसे, does he still carry any self pride? I don't know what, I'm just for some reason forgetting that word. That is he still carrying any arrogance about himself, or he is ready to listen anything I say? Is he feeling any animosity if I say something harsh to him, or anything I say is still like amrit to him? So when we become a disciple where Swamiji says go away, then we go away without showing any unhappiness for it. And when Swamiji, after scolding, suddenly say no, come to me, and we come to Swamiji again without showing any arrogance that you only told me to go away, now why will I come back? So when these change of bhava doesn't happen within ourselves and we remain always in the same bhav, that is what is called Sahaj Swabhav. So Sahaj Swabhav is what Swamiji wants in us. And for testing whether we remain in the same state of devotion, no matter whether Swamiji is scolding, or Swamiji is asking us to go through certain hardship, or Swamiji is just showing his love to us. In both extreme situation where Swamiji has become very favorable or Swamiji has become very unfavorable, something that you really don't like to do, but Swamiji is still asking us to do that. And despite all that, you still carry the same level of devotion within yourself. When this very sahajata, when this very the natural bhav establishes within ourselves, that is when Sadgurudev is convinced that now this disciple has become my true follower. And this is what Swamiji say, test through all these hardship. So instead of saying just vinamrata, I would say the word is sahaj swabhav, that the sahajta, our bhakti, our devotion is natural, or it is going to be impacted by the situation. So Swamiji will test that. Is our devotion natural, or it is influenced right now by some favorable situation? What if I bring unfavorable situation in the disciple life? Then I will check what is the level of devotion now. So Swamiji will always do these kind of tests before giving Almighty to the disciple. Jigyasupan se dev shiksha kari pariksha rat raha. Without examining the disciple, Swamiji is not going to give the ultimate experience. So there'll be definitely a big test before Swamiji will give anything to us. So this was actually the real essence of it.
Got it. Yeah, thank you so much for that clarity. So basically, Sahaj Swabhav, which is natural humility and humbleness, which is natural Swabhav, as opposed to
and the consistent. Yeah,
Yes.
it's the consistency that
Yep.
is our bhav consistent no matter what is the situation outside.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Yes.
Thanks,
I'll see
Neil.
if anybody else has any questions. Otherwise, I have another question actually, but I'll wait for any other question that anybody else has.
Jai Sadgurudeo.
जी जय सदगुरुदेव तेजिंदर जी. Yeah, Tejinder, you wanted to ask something?
Yeah. No, I can just add something because
Yes,
it's
please.
so
Yeah.
touching. Whatever each word is so inspiring, and I have just I can add that blessings are bestowed by Sadguru through his blessed grace unequivocally on those who maintain an unflinching trust in him. So, like his blessings, like faith, hope, optimism, sincerity, courage of conviction, and selfless service. So these are all in the form of we get in the form of loving family, sound health, mental equilibrium, financial security, social prestige, education, and wisdom. That's all by Sadguru Dev blessings. So after some time, he tests us, and after having tested us time and again to judge whether or not we are worthy of his grace. So Sadguru provides us with requisite courage to overcome challenges. And through his grace, we are able to replete with blessings, glory, peace, and harmony. So by his grace, we shall emerge victorious in all that we aspire, in all that we want to attain. So it's the main idea is like we should not be hypocrite. Like outside we are something else, and Sadguru need us very. He needs sincerity. What we are doing. So I think that's what the moral of this doha is. Thank you, Vijayji. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Tejinder ji, for beautifully bringing this up here. Chitralekha ji is asking in chat that why Guru has to test every time and every action? Why is life full of testing? So let's take it like this, that let's say we have to go uphill we have to go uphill, but we are wearing a slippery shoes. So when we are wearing a slippery shoes, we are going to fall. We are going to slip because we have to go uphill and the shoes is slippery. It does not have friction in it. But when you have friction, then what happens? Frictions make you strong. You can now take support of the ground and go uphill. So these tests, these examination that Sadhguru takes, this only helps us create friction against the Maya. Otherwise, we freely flow in Maya. Maya is able to grab us and flow us because we don't object. We don't object to Maya. Whatever Maya wants to do, we do it. There is absolutely no friction between us and Maya. So Maya is feeling no objection from our side. When Sadhguru is testing us, Sadhguru is not giving us hardship. Our hardship or our problems in life only shows that we are not ready yet. The day we become ready, the same hardship that was hardship for us will become a day-to-day thing for us. For example, Swamiji wants us to go out and spread this technique to other human beings. For one people whose routine has been that the morning you get up, from then on, all you do is the worldly activities. You want to spend your time in watching the shows that you like the most, or play the games that you like the most, or eating the food that you like the most. And this is your 24 hours routine. You want to sleep as much as you want. You want to have complete freedom of your time. And suddenly Guru says, no, I want you to devote 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours of your time every weekend for taking this knowledge outside and talk to people, spread this technique to others. So for one person, it will be a hardship, but for other person who is actually willing to do it, this will be a blessing. For one person, if it is a hardship, that means he is not ready yet. Whereas for the other person who take it as a blessings, oh, I'm so blessed, Swamiji gave me this seva and I now really got an opportunity to do it. So for that person, it's no more a hardship. So any hardship defines our limits. If it is still a hardship for us, that means we are still limited, we are still constrained, we are still worldly. So Swamiji's test is always the test of what virtues we are carrying right now. If we are still lazy about it, if we are still unwilling about seva, then it will be a hardship for us. It will be a test for us. But Sadhguru actually wants us to transform. And he can transform us only when, any metal is transformed only with heat. Only when you heat it, then the molecules interact and then it transforms to become some other some other metal form, the composite metal. It becomes something else. The iron and carbon combines and becomes steel only when there is heat provided to it. And that heat is the process of transformation. So is these seva, these tapa that Sadhgurudeo wants us to do. When we transform, then this tapa is no more tapa for us. These are no more hardship for us. Rather, this becomes the source of happiness for us. So Swamiji is giving actually the source of happiness. But that source of happiness is a hardship for us as long as we are worldly in nature. The day we become spiritual in nature, the day we wish only for the benevolence of our soul and we just, give blind eyes to the worldly subjects, rather the worldly subjects, you start, kind of going away from it. You really don't want, you really develop a sense of vairagya within yourself, that if you have to, if somebody offers you too much of sweet, it is rather you feel going away from it, because you really don't want to get caught into the same raga, the same greed that, kind of took your 90% of your life so far. You really hated it now. You really want to go away from it. And you want to spend your time in doing things that is good for your soul. When this feeling happens, establishes within yourself, then all the test by Swamiji will become the source of happiness for you. And that's what Swamiji wants. Swamiji wants to see whether any hardship that I'm offering to this fellow, is that hardship is hardship for him, or it has become the source of happiness for him. Only when it has become the source of happiness for us, then only we are ready to leave this worldly life. Because this knowledge, this very wisdom of Brahma Vidya is about devotion, where you care, you basically wish nothing from the world. Rather, you wish only the bliss of Almighty. So are you ready to actually wish only for Almighty, or you're still caught into the materialistic wishes? This is what is tested by Swamiji. Yes.
Thank you, Vijayji. Before concluding our reaching to the last page of our satsang, we would like to inform that NAIVY is proud to announce that it is conducting Warrior of Week, where we all get up in the morning at between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. in their respective time zones, and we start doing the sadhana or the meditation which is preached to us by Lord Sadgurudeo. And this is an effort to encourage everyone to take the benefits of Brahmurat sadhana. And if anybody wants to join this session, please let me know. I can add you to the WhatsApp group. You have to wake up early in the morning between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Do a basic 10 minutes of sadhana, and in that group, you just send a text message, done or okay. So this week, we have a Warrior of the Week like Bhagwati Patel ji, Prachi Shivsagar ji, Radha ji, Srirang ji, Surya Lamraji ji, Tejinder ji, Yogesh Shivsagar ji, and inductees of the week is Adarsh ji, Anukumar ji, Lalmani ji, Rashmi ji, and Vijay ji. Thank you all. And this is a kind of motivation for all of us. Now, we have reached to the last phase of today's workshop. In this phase, we will chant short version of Vandana, Aarti, and Santi part. Vandana is prayer through which we seek blessing of Sadguru. We request well-being of health, wealth, and seek his blessings for his spiritual knowledge. I would request Dev ji to sing the last 4 lines of Vandana. Over to you, Dev ji.
Vandana. Prabhu Kalpa Santa Samaja Uttama Sarva Dharma Charya Hain Jimi Nadya Sri Tu Sindhu Ki Hai Vishwapatha Mayakaya Hain Prabhu Satya Santa Samaja Tira Aparaksha Kijiye Jana Sadafara Jana Bhakti Priti Dina Dina Kijiye.
Thank you, Dev ji. Aarti is another prayer offered to Sadgurudeo. Here we acknowledge the power of Almighty and pray all disciples experience eternal joy, love, and freedom from no worries under His holy guidance. I request everybody to stand up for the Aarti. I would now request Devji to sing last few lines of Aarti.
Jagurudeva Hare, Sadgurudeva Hare, Shishya Jana Ki Sanche, Shana Me Dura Kare, Jo Shana Me Awe, Satapata Pawe, Mohimite Jiva Ke. Sukha Shanti We Pawe Tukahade Mite Jaga Ke Guru Marati Kati Chandrama Sevaka Nayana Chakur Palaka Palaka Niraka Rahe Guru Marati Ki Or Shweta, Shweta, Maya Shweta, hey, Shweta, Shweta, Maya Shweta. Dina Pada Amriti Bara, Shweta Mahamada Shweta. Ashta Chakra Savasunya Para, Dura, Dara Adhara Kipar, Taham Sada Fulagara Kia. Eda para sansar.
Thank you, Devji. Now everybody can sit down for the final prayer of Santipat. In Santipat, we chant the peace for everyone who exists in this universe. May Sadguru bless the entire cosmos with peace, love, and prosperity. I would now request Devji to recite last few lines of Santipat for us.
Hey Prabhu Shanti Sarupa Ho, Shanti Shanti Maya Shanti, Shanti Shanti Jana Shanti Ho, Purna Shanti Maya Shanti. Hey Prabhu Shanti Pradana Kara, Duraho Sarva Shanti. Deva Sada Phala Shanti Maya Shanti Shanti Sukha Shanti. Jasa Gurudev Bhagavan Ki Jai.
Thank you all. I would like to thank all for joining this session and encourage everybody to ponder over the topic we discussed today. NAIVY has been conducting Sunday virtual satsang for Vihangam Yoga initial workshops over USA and North America for last few years. So any queries related to this satsang, you can send us an email at info@vihangamyoga.org. I would like to thank Vijayji, Devji, Niranjanji for making the satsang successful and sharing the insightful knowledge of Swarved with us. Thank you all, and I pray for Lord Sadgurudeo that this week goes well and it's filled with happiness for you all. Let's meet in the next Sunday satsang at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the same Zoom meeting. Till then, Jai Sadgurudeo to all.